All right, so this is just a quick little powwow video. This is mostly for design, and then Jonathan, I've got some concerns, or just some ideas for install. So, I get it. We're just going to be supposedly cutting out and replacing the face on the cabinet and the face on this and this guy here. So I thought I put the files in there. Sorry about that. The files aren't in there. I've been going through and backfilling. I mean, I know ACC's in there and stuff, but I could have swore I put this. But anyway, so let's look at the cabinet. The issue is that the cabinet is one piece design using the frame, utilizing the frame to stabilize the face. So you can see where on the original one, the framing is 4x all the way around. And then this seam here is stabilized by using, the framing. Same thing here. This is spliced here with an internal brace on the backside. So it's actually in 3 pieces. So there's really no way to stabilize these seams on their own and take a face over there and then try to, cut this out. The other issue is that when I made this here, so when you bring this one in and you have this guy here, so you can see where like the front face framing is 4 inches here. If we were to take like this and I just group it, and then we'll just go magenta over this. So you can see where, pediatric here is cutting into that framing there pretty bad. So even if you were to go take this over there somehow, but you won't be able to stabilize these seams like in this face, in the new face. So we're going to have to build. But it's easier that way anyway. We can just quickly knock out another frame and then lords us together and it gets painted as one piece. So rather than going out there and cutting and trying to make it work, you just take the old face off and slide a new face on and screw it down. But the issue is that this doesn't quite fit into the existing frame. So that's a negative for going out there because you'd have to cut into that framing so bad. The other issue though will be I'll have to sacrifice the strength on the bottom a little bit to try to make it fit. So if that isn't an issue, I think it'd be okay if we bring this down quite a bit and minimize the framing on the bottom. It should be okay. If not, and the same thing here. So we'd have to minimize the framing at the top in order to get this pushed through. So I think that'd be the idea. Or if you want to consider trying to shrink this a little bit to try to make it fit into the existing frame so I don't have to actually do anything. But either way, it's fine. But I think that's the best way is just, because it's a shoebox thing. So you have the backer that's already on the wall. And then we just go over there with a new face all painted up and just slide it on. So as usual, just a little extra work on the front end is going to make all the difference on the back end. If that's okay with you, let me know. Install, as you can see, this is the layout for the LEDs. So, when things change like this, the LEDs don't always match. So you might want to take over, some GE. I'm sure we use the GE 7100s. I think these will have UL records because we lost our UL record. But I think this is within the new stuff. So that'll tell us exactly what we use, but I'm pretty sure it was all GE 7100, 24 volt. So if you want to bring some extra width and try to kind of, repopulate underneath the new stuff as needed, because you can see you'll have LEDs there, but the LEDs will miss this. The LEDs will be up here, and these LEDs will probably cover that, but it kind of gets down a little bit there. So anyway, I think that's the solution for that. I'll just, like I said, just let me know what you want to do, but otherwise I'm going to have to make this frame quite a bit smaller, but I don't think that'll be an issue. Install's just going to have to treat it carefully. Same thing with us around the shop, because this, 164 inches is a lot of weight. So we just don't want this to fold up like a taco. Like I say, otherwise you're going to have to kind of change the way this looks. So I don't know if you're down. That's how we'll deal with that. And then the pulse sign is kind of the same thing as far as having a shoebox design, which is super helpful. So rather than chopping out faces, it won't be any big deal to just put the new face into the new box. We weld it up, paint it. That way, the only thing they have to do is paint the back side of the shoe box that's showing. I don't think we need to go so far as, I mean, we could. It would be, we could actually make backers as well and just make new boxes that just bolt on. These boxes, easy enough, just bolt on with 5/16 bolts. You can slide these entire cabinets right off and then slide it right on. But I don't think we need to make backers because they can just paint that. So as long as we're cool with just hand painting, that's fine. But again, install, you're going to have to bring to repopulate some extra LED areas here because these are literally laid out for that. And let me see, I haven't even superimposed that yet, but yeah. So you can see where there won't be any LEDs in these areas. So you're going to want to bring extra LEDs to populate that up. You can just use your blue Scotch connectors and just patch in. So I think that's, problem solved there. The other issue would be here. It's just a design question. That is actually just a regular channel letter that's bolted, screwed to the front. It's a design question. So what we have is this hole here. So we have a cross of little number 10 screws. These are a little over an 1/8 inch size holes. These holes here are all bonded, so ignore those. But it's these holes here. So when we take off the cross, you'll have this hole here. This is a 3.5 by 3.5. So you mentioned something about painting some metal to cover that up. So design wise, do we just extend it a little bit the same shape to catch like these 4 holes here? Or do we extend just a square that goes over all of the holes here? Or also what I'm thinking is because this is a dark paint, even though it's not that old, it's been there long enough that is the cross going to have sort of burned the paint a little bit? And when you take this off, are you going to have a ghost in the paint of the cross? So like I say, do we want to just make a square that's as big as the cross and then paint it? Or is there a design that we're looking for that kind of mimics this and makes it look like we did it on purpose, like a stacked version? Or I don't know. So if you could just give me a heads up on that, as far as, do we just do minimum plate, the smallest plate to cover this hole and catch these holes, and it's okay to just leave these and go with what's there? Or do we do just a rectangle that's big enough to cover all that and then that's it? So and then also, do we want to just double stick tape that on there? Or do we want to utilize the screws and have actual screws on the face? Or do we just cover it up, clean, put a little silicone, some double stick tape, and make it look, somewhat clean? But, or do we follow the shape a little bit, try to give it a little design? I don't know. So those are the things. I think modifying the cabinet a little bit here. I'm just going to try to see if I can get away with modifying the frame and just building this again. And then these should be straightforward. So, but again, what to do about the cross, and if you want to change how this looks at all, or am I going to just modify the framing and make a new one with smaller frames and hopefully it doesn't fold up. So anyway, and then install, take a bunch of LEDs out there to fill it in. So hit me up with any questions, and please follow up on this for the little powwow here.